Okay, let's dive straight into this explainer. You know that freezing feeling you get when someone casually asks about your childhood? Yeah, you search your memory and suddenly you realize, wait, I kind of skipped chapters 7 through 17. It's like a giant puzzle with a massive hole right in the middle. It isn't necessarily because something terrifying happened, or even because nothing happened at all. It's just a blank space, a gap. And unpacking that gap, well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. So where did it go? What's really fascinating here is how the end of childhood for so many people isn't some big, dramatic, cinematic explosion. We're totally conditioned to expect this movie-worthy event. But honestly, it's usually so much quieter than that. It just creeps up on you. And there's this massive disconnect between the clinical terms and what it actually felt like to live it. You see, therapists throw around the word parentification, but the lived reality? The reality is an 8-year-old quietly becoming the single most responsible person under that roof. It's making dinner for your younger siblings when you were just 9 years old because your parent is pulling a double shift. It's having to step up as the literal translator when your parents are fighting. It's learning how to read the emotional temperature of a room before you even learned how to read a chapter book. You didn't volunteer for it, right? You just did what had to be done.
Section 1. What is parentification? The survival adaptation.
Dr. Lisa Hooper, who has researched this stuff extensively, points out something absolutely crucial. When a kid takes on adult responsibilities, they look, well, amazingly mature to the outside world. Teachers love them, adults totally rely on them. But, and this is a big but, it isn't actually maturity. It's a survival adaptation, literally. It's a young, developing nervous system learning to run on crisis mode as its absolute default setting, all because stability depended entirely on them holding the whole shebang together. Really, let the weight of this sink in for a second. What felt completely normal to you was actually someone else's crisis. Kids who grow up like this develop these almost superhuman skills. I'm talking extreme hypervigilance. They can read a room the exact millisecond a parent walks through the door. They sense a mood shift before a single word is even spoken. And they solve problems instantly because, let's be real, not solving them was never really on the table. But those skills? Yeah, they come with a seriously delayed price tag.
Section 2. The adult operating system running on outdated code.
Fast forward 20 years, and this outdated code is running everywhere in your life. You become the dependable fixer, right? The one everyone calls when things go completely off the rails. You carry this deep, almost desperate need to manage every little variable and control your environment. Why? Because back in the day, unpredictability meant danger. So you overthink. You plan out like a dozen different scenarios in your head before making the smallest decision. People might label you type A, or anxious, or a perfectionist, but what they're actually looking at is a kid who learned a long time ago that letting their guard down had severe consequences. This explains perfectly why intimacy is just so incredibly complicated for you. Look, vulnerability was a luxury you simply couldn't afford back then. You might even find yourself naturally drawn to people who need fixing, or to partners who are totally emotionally unavailable. And it's not because there is something broken inside you. It's just that unavailable feels familiar. It literally feels like home. When you're entirely used to giving endlessly and rarely getting anything back, someone offering you steady, consistent love, it feels deeply uncomfortable. It's like you're just sitting there, waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It's honestly fascinating how this operating system works. It lets you handle massive life hurdles with absolute ease. High competence, rapid-fire problem solving, you name it. But then, the tiny, daily stuff completely trips you up. Asking someone for a simple favor feels physically dangerous. Resting on the couch without feeling this crushing wave of guilt? Impossible. You are fully equipped for a Category 5 hurricane, but a quiet, sunny Tuesday feels absolutely terrifying.
Section 3. The cost of competence. The invisible exhaustion. Okay, here is the harsh truth. Society absolutely loves, and heavily rewards, people who grew up way too fast. We praise them. We call them productive, independent, low maintenance. We love that they just get the job done. But society praises the productivity without ever stopping to ask, hey, what did it cost you to become this way? And the cost is usually this bone-deep exhaustion. It's a profound tiredness that an 8-hour sleep simply does not fix. Because, well, your nervous system has been redlining since elementary school.
A huge chunk of that exhaustion comes from emotional labor. You get so fluent at managing a room's tension, constantly diffusing conflicts before they even spark, that you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. It's just automatic. It's like breathing. But doing this day in and day out slowly empties you out. You end up keeping everyone else perfectly comfortable while quietly drowning on the inside. And it leaves you feeling totally alone, even when you're literally surrounded by friends, family, or coworkers, because nobody actually sees how incredibly hard you're working just to keep everything smooth. So ultimately, your whole relationship with success gets totally warped. You achieve real, genuinely impressive things, but it never ever feels like enough. There's always this nagging voice in your head demanding more, better, faster. Why? Because your fundamental sense of self-worth got tangled up with your usefulness a very, very long time ago. If you aren't fixing something or producing or managing a crisis, you literally don't know what your value is. Section 4. How to finally rest. Uninstalling the crisis mode. Now, it takes a lot of conscious work to uninstall this old code, and it happens in steps. Step 1. You actually have to grieve the childhood you didn't get to have. That version of you who could have been messy and needy and just a kid, they deserve better. And admitting that doesn't make you ungrateful, it just makes you honest. Step 2. You have to uncouple your worth from being needed. Your value as a human being is absolutely not measured by what you produce or how well you manage other people's feelings. And finally, step 3. You have to actively allow yourself to rest and to receive love and help without feeling like you have to earn it first. Really? Let this sink in for a second. That incredibly strong, brave, and resourceful kid who held everything together for your family, they did a fantastic job. Truly, they did. But they aren't running the show anymore. You're an adult now, you're in a totally different environment, and it is finally safe to let someone else take a turn holding things together. You are allowed to rest. Unpacking this kind of deeply ingrained survival adaptation, it is hard work. And while this explainer is here to help you understand the mechanics of what's going on, speaking to a licensed mental health professional can be an incredibly powerful next step to actually protect your peace. Because listen, you've been holding on so incredibly tight for so long. I want to leave you with this one thought to reflect on today. What would it actually feel like to finally just let go? Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.